Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Brakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS the Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And shalom to the 144,000 men out there that consist of the elect, all right, and also the rest of the 1/3, all right, that consists of the men, women, and children, and the speckled birds that are scattered through all four corners of the earth. Shalom, shalom, and this is Brother Nabala Kodash back with another lesson, all right, and this is an article from the People's Voice, all right, and it says the UN troops to be deployed across the U.S. as Pentagon prepares for civil unrest, all right, and we know, how these devils, open these borders, all right, to let in these the migrants, all right, and a lot of these people from the other nations, all right, the Ukrainians, the Moabites, the Ammonites, Hamites, Arabs, letting these different people of these nations, all right, that that claim to be part of the UN, all right. They're letting thousands of people, all right, the migrants, to bring forth the collapse of Babylon the Great, all right, and to bring forth chaos, all right, here in Babylon the Great as well, all right, and that's the whole thing, is to bring forth order out of chaos, all right, so that these devils could bring forth order, with these UN troops, all right. Well, we know at the end of the day, this is all orchestrated, by Yahweh, by Shema Shai. All right. This is all, prophecy. All right. That's going to take place, civil unrest. All right. That's all prophecy. All right. And it speaks about this prophecy. All right. Especially what in the book of Isaiah, it talks about this prophecy. All right. So, we're going to, go into this. All right. And, get into this article, and then we will, get into the scriptures, and then we will close out. So it says the UN troops to deploy across the U.S. as Pentagon prepares for civil unrest. And it says, and the Biden regime has agreed to allow thousands of UN troops to be deployed across the U.S. All right. So they agreed to it. It says, in anticipation of mass civil unrest in America. So that's pretty much Esau's way of saying, they're anticipating it, but that's pretty much their way of saying that, it's getting ready to take place. All right. It's bound to happen. All right. It says, according to a report by Greg Reese, the UN is directing the migrant crisis in America with contingent of its own forces embedded in the military aids migrant caravans to activate civil unrest at a later date. Right. So, and also too, and that was another thing too, that there was a lot of military aged men, all right, coming through these borders, man. All right, and those military aged men, were men that were part of the UN, all right, part of the United Nations. I believe that's what that is. All right. So Esau Edom's telling you, man, that civil unrest is getting ready to take place. All right. It says the southern border of the United States is wide open. See? And the federal government has been conducting a wide-scale criminal operation, flooding the country with unvetted foreigners. You see, unvetted foreigners. You see, they're letting in all these foreigners and distributing them across the United States and providing them with homes and financial support. The GOP's talking point has been that this is all about the election fraud. It says, but this has been happening all across the Western world for over a decade. This is something far more sinister than election fraud. Right. It is. It is way more sinister, man. All right. To bring chaos. All right. To bring the collapse of Babylon the Great. All right. It's more than election fraud, man. This is all orchestrated, man. All right. This is all orchestrated. It says the population division of the United Nations concerns themselves with international migration. It says in the year 2000, they posed a replacement migration, a solution put forth to deal with the declining and aging populations. For years, we were told that this was a conspiracy theory. But now that we are seeing tens of millions murdered by the experimental shots, it's becoming more clear what the objective is. It says, we are told that these are poor families fleeing tyranny, but these are massive amounts of healthy men without any families, right? See? These are all healthy men, man. These are military aged men without families, man. So if they don't got their families, what are they coming here for? All right? You see? It says, and time and time again, we have seen them act violently against native populations, right? You see, to bring forth chaos as well. Sleeper cells, man, to bring forth this chaos. All right. It says, and very little repercussions from the law, as we are expecting the announcement of disease X and another lockdown. A recent reporter from the UK, Jim Ferguson, provides a plausible explanation of what we are seeing. All right. So, they're sitting there telling you right here, man. All right. It's a lot more, it's a lot bigger, than election fraud, man. All right. To bring forth this chaos. All right. So they could, set out these UN troops. All right. To try to, take control of the situation. And that's one thing, with these UN troops, man, they're not from, Babylon the Great, man. So they're going to be violent, towards the inhabitants of this place, man. They don't give a damn, about, the inhabitants of Babylon the Great, man. All right. So, while they're sending, the Babylonian military overseas, to fight in the Middle East, they brought in these UN troops to handle the situation, man. All right. So, we're in those times, brothers. We're in those times, man. All right. So let's get the book of Matthews. Salakia, let me change this to the KJV. Let's get the book of Matthews 24. And we'll start at 21. It says, for then shall there be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, this time, nor ever shall be. All right. So that's what we're expecting. All right. We're expecting, that great tribulation. All right. And we know what that great tribulation is, which is Jacob's trouble, which I'm going to get here shortly. It says, and expect those days to be shortened. There should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Right. The days have to be shortened. All right. Because if the days are shortened, this devil's going to come down having great wrath. All right. And no flesh shall be saved. All right. So this is happening, for the elect's sake. All right. That's why these times are coming. The days have to be shortened for the elect's sake. All right. Let's get the book of Salakia. What's going on here? Oh my gosh. All right, let's go here. Let's get the book of Jeremiah 30:7. The app wants to act up. Let's get the book of Jeremiah, verse 30. 7. It says, at last, for that great day, it says, at last, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. It says, but he shall be saved out of it. Who shall be saved out of it? The elect. All right. The elect shall be saved out of it. All right. That's who's going to be saved out of it. And it's going to be a time like no other that's going to take place. So that's why they're sending these UN troops so they could, take control of the situation, or try to take control of the situation. All right. Many greater miseries are about to, come forth here, man. All right. People are going to be fighting one against one another. All right. Civil war is going to get stirred up here, man. All right. And we're in those times. All right. So matter of fact, let's get that in the book of Isaiah. In the Good News translation. Okay. Because, this is written right here, man. In the Good News translation. Let's see. Let's get 2 to 4. It says, see, it says Yahweh Bashimal Shai says, I will stir up civil war in Egypt. You see, he will stir up civil war in Egypt. You see, because then the Lord say in the scriptures, that he comes not to bring peace, but bring division. You see? And this is talking about spiritual Egypt right here in the book of Isaiah. This is spiritual Egypt, which is Babylon the Great. It says, and turn brother against brother and neighbor against neighbor. You see, Egyptian versus Egyptian. Rival cities to fight each other and rival kings will struggle for power. You see? So, all the, the governors and things like that, man, they're going to struggle for power. You see? And that's one of the reasons why they're bringing in these UN troops so they can take control of the situation. It says, I am going to frustrate the plans of the Egyptians and destroy their morals. It says, they will ask for the idols to help them, and they will go and consult mediums and the spirits of the dead for advice. I will hand the Egyptians over to a tyrant. You see? It says, to a cruel king who will rule them. It said, I, the Lord Almighty, have spoken. All right? So this right here is getting into, the civil war, man. All right? You're going to have people fighting against each other, man. Why? Because, for the lack of bread, all right? No jobs, various reasons, man, of why the Civil War is going to take place, all right? Civil War is going to take place because, disagreements, between the civilians and the government. All right, that's pretty much what it is. You see, the government versus the people. All right, so that's what's getting ready to take place. All right, and that's why they're getting ready to deploy, these UN troops. All right, so let's go here to Second Esdras, and we'll finish off with that. All right. Second Esdras 6. And we will go 24 and we'll read the 25. It says, in that time shall friends fight against another like enemies. All right. So friends and neighbors are going to fight against each other like enemies. Why? Because of Jacob's trouble, because of lack of bread, hunger. You see, it's going to be multiple things. That's going to be a factor of why this is happening. It says, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right. And the springs of the fountain pretty much gets into famine of the word. All right. Because at that time, when all these things take place, we're no longer going to be on the highways and hedges preaching this word, man, giving people the warning, man. All right. The Lord's going to put the spirit on us not to go out on the highways and hedges anymore, man, to be able to preach this word. It said, whosoever remaineth from all that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. The end of whose world? Esau, Edom's world. All right. You see? Because why? Because what is it? Second Esdras, is it 6 and 9? Let's go to verse 9, I believe. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, you see, the end of Esau's world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so we're coming to the end of Esau's world, man. All right, and a new kingdom, a new righteous kingdom is being brought forth. All right, and that's Jacob. All right, starting with Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, that's our king. That's the one that's going to reign. All right, that's the one Yahweh gave authority to, Yahweh Shai, man. All right, so. We're in those times, brothers and sisters, man. We're in those times where, things are going to start to kick forth and these prophecies are going to start to pick up. All right. These prophecies are already picking up. Things are moving fast. All right. Why? For the elect's sake. All right. As we read. All right. So, I just thought I will, blow the trumpet on this. All right. So with that being said, I'd like to give our praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh. Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakwadash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Judah, Mr. Great Millstone, who teach and rule well. All right, and this is Brother Nabala Kwadash. Until the next lesson, Shalom, Shalom.